Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today the subject of my lecture is Introduction to Phrases and Clauses, and under the canopy of Introduction to Phrases, we will discuss recognizing phrase types. What are the phrase types that we are going to recognize? These are as follows: noun phrase, verb phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, or a prepositional phrase. So here we have uh, different sentences, and from those sentences we will have to point out, we will have to recognize the phrase types. For each phrase underline, you can underline the main word, or you can or a head, that is noun or verb, or pronoun, adjective, adverb, preposition, etc. All right, so here we have the example, and the first one has been solved for us. In the sentence number one, they could have signed that check. You are going to bracket the words which belong to separate or different categories of the phrases. For example, in the first sentence, they is noun phrase, as you can say, they is pronoun or a noun, so it belongs to the category of a noun phrase. Could have signed, so these words, they belong to verb phrase because they act as verbs. They could have signed that check. Here that check is object. All right, so it belongs to a noun phrase because subjects and objects in any sentence anywhere are always noun. So wherever you see a subject in a sentence or an object in a sentence, you can relate it, you can say that it is a noun as well. In example number two, he is a sweet boy. He came to my wedding and he looked so handsome. So in this example, he is noun phrase, is verb phrase, a sweet boy is again a noun phrase. He came, in this he again is noun phrase, came is verb phrase. To my wedding is prepositional phrase because preposition had it. And he he again is noun phrase, looked is verb phrase, so handsome is adjective phrase. So how do you recognize these phrases? Any phrase in which noun heads or a pronoun is the head, that is a noun phrase, and a phrase in which adjective is the head, that is an adjective phrase, and a phrase which acts as an adverb or in which an adverb is a head, that is an adverb phrase, and similarly a phrase in which preposition is a head or which acts as a preposition, that is a prepositional phrase. So let's discuss another example from these five sentences. Let's discuss this example number four. I also told him the story of my life. In this example, I is noun phrase, also is adverb phrase, told is a verb phrase, him is a noun phrase, the story of my life is again a noun phrase. So if you want to further divide them into different category, you can call one of them as a direct object and the other of them as indirect object. So ultimately direct and indirect object are again a noun, they are again known as noun phrase because subject and objects are always noun. In exercise number two, phrases within phrases, we will look at some phrases which are embedded inside other phrases. All right. For example, she stayed for a few days. In this example, for a few days as a whole is a prepositional phrase. But in this prepositional phrase, you can see another phrase embedded inside it. For example, for a few days is a prepositional phrase, and a few days is a noun phrase. All right. So we can see that phrases are embedded inside other phrases. In this sentence, this, in my view. So in my view as a whole is a prepositional phrase, but in my view, only my view, this is a noun phrase. So we can see that phrases are embedded inside other phrases. We have some sentences over here, four sentences. You can again categorize, you can put bracket you can bracket those phrases which are embedded inside other phrases. Let us discuss one or two of these sentences. In sentence number one, what did you do with the cookies? So in this sentence, we can see that with the cookies is a prepositional phrase, and inside this prepositional phrase, there is another phrase that is the cookies, which is a noun phrase. So with the cookies is a prepositional phrase, and in that prepositional phrase, we have a noun phrase that is the cookies. Let's discuss another sentence in this um, from these four sentences. So let us discuss example number three. I think she went to the prom with him. So in this sentence, to the prom is a prepositional phrase and a noun phrase. The prom is embedded in that prepositional phrase. So here in part B, phrases often occur with multiple embedding. For example, a noun phrase is embedded in a prepositional phrase, which in turn can be embedded in a larger noun phrase. All right. So they can embedded multiple times. So in this part A, we discuss embedding of phrases in which one phrase is or one phrase is embedded inside another phrase. But here we are going to discuss multiple embedding. That is where embedding occurs two or three times. For example, the mess in his bedroom. The mess in his bedroom is as a whole is a noun phrase. But in this noun phrase, in his bedroom is a prepositional phrase. And again, in this prepositional phrase, his bedroom is a noun phrase. So this is a multiple embedding. For example, this is embedding number one. This as a whole is a noun phrase, but then in his bedroom is a prepositional phrase. Again, his bedroom is a noun phrase. Same is the case with this wonderful contrast of the feeling. So you can also apply this multiple embedding rule on the second example number two as well. In the following sentences, find examples of multiple embedding and mark them off by bracketing. So we are going to bracket multiple embedding in the following sentences. For example, in the sentence number one, I have met a bunch of people. So in this example, a bunch of people is a noun phrase. And again, in this noun phrase, we have another phrase that is, first of all, we have a bunch of people is a noun phrase. Then in noun phrase, we have of people, which is a prepositional phrase. And again, in this of people, we again have one word, this people, which is noun phrase. So a bunch of people is a noun phrase, of people is a prepositional phrase, and only people is a noun phrase. Uh, let's move our attentions toward another example in this sentence from these sentences. Let's discuss example number three, sentence number three. He was a poet, a teacher of philosophy, and a man with a terrible recent history. So in this example, a teacher of philosophy, this is a noun phrase, all right? Then a man with a terrible recent history again is a noun phrase. So we have two noun phrases here in this sentence number three. So let us see multiple embedding in these noun phrases. A teacher of philosophy is a noun phrase. As we can see that of philosophy is a prepositional phrase and only philosophy is a noun phrase. Again, a man with a terrible recent history is a noun phrase with a terrible recent history is a prepositional phrase, and a terrible recent history is a noun phrase. The next topic is clause elements and clause patterns. So here in the we have so many we have different class elements and different class patterns as well. Again, let's have a look at class elements and we will discuss this class pattern in the next lecture. What are the class elements? the words which are given which are used in the class in the classes are class element. For example, subject, direct object, adverbial, indirect object, uh, object predicate, verb, subject predicate. All right, they are class elements. So you can have a look at them in the following examples. In the example number one, my dislike of the man returned. So we will label those class elements in these examples. I have taught you these class elements in the class as well. You can also browse them. If you're not sure about any term, you may ask me, and you may also browse it. You may also Google it as well, because they are very simple terms. In this example number one, my dislike of the man returned. So my dislike of the man is subject. All right, this is subject in this class element, and return is a verb. Taco is really a smart guy. In this example, Taco is subject, is verb, helping verb or verb. Really is adverb. A smart guy is subject predicate. All right, because it tells us something about the subject. We have discussed these terms in our recent classes as well, when we were taking the classes on the campus. Some guy died at 20 of a heart attack. In this example, some guy is subject, died is verb, at 20 is adverb or adverbial, you may say. Of a heart attack is adverb or an adverbial, you may say. All adverbs are adverbials, but not all adverbials are adverbs. All right, because adverb may be a single word, but adverbials may be a single, maybe a class, maybe a phrase. But adverbial, adverbial is a grammatical function, and it acts as an adverb. All right, it tells us about it tells us how something is happening, when something is happening, why something is happening. All right, it tells us about why, how, when, etc., because it acts as an adverb. In example, so let's discuss another example. You may take example number 7. During her short life, her two sisters bought her a small teddy bear. So during her short life is an adverbial. Her two sisters, it is subject. Bought is verb. Her is indirect object, and a small teddy bear is a direct object. So these are the class elements. You may revise them again, and you may label the other sentences. You may label the class elements in these other sentences on your own. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any question, please ask me in the comments below. And in the next lecture, we will discuss the class pattern along with a little revision of the tree diagrams.